So I'm a little bit apprehensive making this video. It could go one way or the other way. But I feel this conversation needs to be had. There's not much in terms of resources out there or people commenting on it or even just YouTube videos. And it's specifically orientated towards selling a product online, mainly the Blender market. So what I'm hoping from this video is you get a little bit of advice, you get to kind of see the inner workings or behind the scenes stuff that nobody really talks about. They kind of keep their cards close to their chest. But I'm more than willing to share stuff like sales, things like that. And this really stems from a conversation on Discord the other day. The user was asking, do I go the gumroad route? Do I put it on Blender Market? What's the best? What is fees? Stuff like this. Now, Haggis Tools has been on the market for 30 days, so it's a little bit apt. I'm in no way a professional or a financial advisor, but I'm in a position where I kind of sit in the middle of everybody at the moment, so yeah, let me begin. So Haggis Tools, 30 days, I've made 150 sales. Now, truth be told, you're probably thinking to yourself, you must be minted, mate, you must be buying yourself a new BMW. Fucking wish. I wish. Now, 150 sales at £5. Okay, that you're thinking to yourself, that's 750 quid. But not really in reality, especially when you factor in things like fees and transaction fees. So I think all in, I made nearly £500. So like half of my sales automatically get deducted. So the reason why most things on Blender Market are slightly more expensive on Gumroad is because of fees. Now originally I was selling Haggis Tools for $10, and you can actually see here I'm on the free tier. Now, this is at your discretion. If you have a big product, if you're something like Box Cutter, you might go for the higher option when it comes to Blender Market. And that is reasonable. And I've got nothing against Blender Market. I think they're a great place to actually host a product. They're very focused on Blender, obviously. But my product was £10, and this is what I was making. I was making $6.42. Which is why you've now seen a price increase, because I actually want to make closer to $10. And it's a little bit unfair to the user, but in truth, I think $15 for Haggis Tools is actually quite a good deal. But I'm going to show you Gumroad as well, and I'm going to talk about the negatives and the positives. Don't automatically think the user is making a fortune. They're not. The fees are nearly 70%, or your commission rate is 70%. Then you get a transaction fee, which I don't know why they would take a commission, then a transaction fee, and then you get a merchant fee. So you actually get quite shafted, to be honest. Which is why most people will actually go down the Gumroad route. Now, when it comes to Gumroad, their fees are much more competitive compared to Blender Market. But there is a trade-off when it comes to Gumroad. Things like the UI on Gumroad is absolutely fucking... It's a pain in the arse, honestly. It's just a nightmare to kind of manage things. They've done this whole UI change, and they actually made it a lot worse. But when it comes to transaction fees, it's a lot easier on a wallet. You generally get more profit. So you generally find most of the people who have a product will actually push you towards Gumroad rather than Blender Market. But, like I said, the UI is horrible. Gumroad... I won't say they're into shady business tactics, because that would be slander, but they're trying to introduce things like NFTs, and the community's pushing against it. So you've kind of got to pick your battles. Now, you're not necessarily restricted to just posting on Gumroad and Blender Market. There is alternatives out there. You have things like Ko-Fi, Patreon, stuff like this. Take a look into it and actually assess where your market is. Now, when it comes to the Blender Market, I'm pretty lucky, to be honest. I have a decent kind of springboard, especially with the YouTube subscribers, and that certainly helped drive up my sales. Now, if I never had that YouTube channel, I would have struggled a little bit. Now, I don't have a huge Twitter following. I kind of moved into Twitter when I started doing tutorials, YouTube, stuff like this. So it's trade-off. So if you're a brand new artist with a brand new product, it's pretty difficult to get that market traction. So there is a lot of trade-off when it comes to Gumroad or Blender Market. But Blender Market, you seem to get a lot more natural sales. You don't need to push it as much as you do with Gumroad. So yeah, keep that in the back of your mind. But I actually have a gripe with Blender Market. So when I released Haggis Tools, I get buried onto page 2 straight away with this Blender themes guy. So that kind of annoyed me, to be honest, because you're expecting to at least hit page 1 in the first day, and we automatically get pushed back. Now, that's not Blender Market's fault, far from it, and it's not even the user's fault here for uploading all these themes. It's just the luck of the draw. So if you don't get featured here, or if you don't land on this page, your sales will actually see an impact. Now, really, this is a personal thing, to be honest. I think Haggis Tool should have been there. It wasn't picked up. There's nothing you can do about that. It's the luck of the draw, to be honest. Sometimes, but I feel there's a little bit of favouritism. I don't know if that's just me being facetious or even just somewhat jealous, but you know that way you just think, should you be there? Now, one click damage definitely should be. It's a nice architecture, fair enough. So, yeah, there's trade-offs when it comes to Blender Market and Gumroad. That is pretty much the crux of the video, to be honest. So things that I could have done better is I probably could have got more YouTubers to actually review the product. Now it's kind of settled down now, it's actually starting to kind of take form. So I might actually start pushing it towards YouTubers, but you need to give them an affiliation link, or you need to sweeten the deal with an affiliation link. So they essentially take a cut off of a cut off of a cut, but it also drives up sales. So you need to keep this when you're pricing your product. So if you're thinking of using people like AskNK, for example, you need to factor in how much affiliation am I going to give, how much is Blender Market or Gumroad going to take as a fee, and then how much do you want to make on top of that product. So yeah, definitely start pushing the product out towards other YouTubers, and obviously getting other Blender artists to promote your product. Now, I was a little bit unlucky. I don't really have many Blender people go, "Oh, Haggis Tools is the best thing since sliced bread." It's not a sexy tool, right? I'll openly admit that. It's more if you use Blender every single day. It's a production tool, and that's pretty much my goal. I use Blender every single day, so I need production tools. I need to be able to duplicate and join an object very quickly. So it's not on the, oh, this is the best tool in the world. It really is to speed up your workflow. I probably should have actually structured this video a little bit better, and I probably should have thought about what I was actually going to say. But it's 20 to 9 on a Saturday morning. So if you're releasing a product on Blender Market or Gumroad or whatever, you can just set up a Google site and add a PayPal link. You do know that as well. Get in contact. I'll try and help you. I'll try and post it as much as I can. I'll try and review it if it's free. If it's commercial and I don't think it's any good, I probably won't review it. If I do review it, I do like an affiliation link because, well, I'm greedy. No, honestly, if you're releasing a product, by all means get in contact, and I wish you all the best. Now, when it comes to Blender Haggis tools, the sales have pretty much dropped off. You're maybe getting 1, maybe 2 a day these days. But that's natural, to be honest. Like I says, it's not a sexy product. Do me a favour, guys. If you have any advice or anything that you would like to ask, stick it in the comments down below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter by Haggis Tools. You know what to do. Take care.